I think the main mistake, whether you're hiring for operations or for even talent on the sales front, is the sense of being desperate. Like you're hiring out of pain because you've been in the business for a little bit, you got the business to where it is right now, and then you're kind of looking to get to that next level. There's three things that agents need to have in order to join the team. The team has to have the technology. They have to have technology like we talked about. They have to have infrastructure to support a new agent or someone who's experienced, especially if they're experienced. How can they utilize that technology to scale their current business to the next level? Two, they have to have a track record, sharing our stats on what the previous year was like with our units, with our unit count, with the GCI, and how we got there. Being able to share that, our track record, and how we're able to do that is a big thing in my process as well. And then the last thing is just transparency. There are a lot of people that, they see the GCI, they see the goals that they could achieve with us through our numbers and everything. And then we talk about the split. Oh, it's 50-50.
Welcome to the 80/20 Recruit podcast, hiring, building, retaining top talent. This show is dedicated to helping business leaders, recruiters, and HR professionals master the art of hiring and managing real estate and investing companies. I'm your host, Francisco Israel, and you can find me anywhere on LinkedIn. Our podcast is proudly sponsored by 80/20 Recruit, where we help real estate companies like investors, flippers, and wholesalers recruit high-performing Latin American teams 100% guaranteed without markup or recruiting fees. So in this show, we have Asher Carr. Welcome to the show.
Thanks, Francisco. Happy to be here.
Cool. Let's kick it off right away with a question that we ask everyone that comes in here. I want to ask you, tell us a little bit about what you think is changing or is a big trend regarding recruiting and hiring in our industry.
Yeah, that's a really great question. There's a lot happening within real estate specifically, but when it comes to recruiting and everything, it's just making sure that you have a solid infrastructure for your real estate team. Over the last, especially since COVID, I believe that we have shifted into this what is out there called a platform revolution, meaning that there are agents looking to join teams and brokerages as offering a ton of support to get to their goals and their production, and even obviously build out the life that they want. And not just as a solo agent, though there's nothing wrong with that. There's a lot of successful solo agents for sure that we know of. But when you join a real estate team, you get a lot of leverage that you would have to really work for as a solo agent, and you kind of cut the learning curve by nearly half by joining a team. So I think right now I believe that's a really big move that a lot of agents are starting to pick up towards, especially if they're completely new and if they are experienced just looking to scale.
How does your team look like? If you can walk us a little bit about your universe there.
Yeah, so right now, so the latest team I've worked with, I was more of a consultant for, but they were a fantastic team down in North Carolina. When I first connected with the team leader, there was about 5-6 active agents, and we've worked over last year. We've worked together to build a team up to around 21 agents, and so there was a lot of things that just weren't in place when we first connected. She was very new to implementing a lot of things, and so once we figured things out and felt like we were a good fit for each other, we started to just look at everything operationally one by one. And recruiting was, I think, the second thing I worked on for them, which was non-existent. And it just kind of just took off from there. So,
what about positions? What positions were there in those 5 to 20 people team?
Yeah, so to really support the infrastructure to get to the 21 that we ended up bringing on by the end of last year, there was transaction manager already in place, which is a virtual assistant, and you'll see that it's very common in our industry. Team leaders hiring virtual assistants really since they've been a solo agent, having to have worked with the transactions from contract to close, and obviously that's a lot of extra time that they could use to generate more business. So there's already that person I kind of came in as the director of operations. There was somebody there, then they had stepped off, and then I came in to fill in that gap. And then also between myself and another person that was more boots on the ground was also director of growth, which really helped with the onboarding process and make sure that our agents got the support that they needed as they were joining and as they were just doing their business as usual over time. So. And then you have the team leaders, obviously setting the example, making sure that they're doing what they're supposed to do, and making sure that the culture is staying strong and staying active, and then you have our wonderful sales agents doing their magic and helping as many people as possible build wealth.
Cool. I want to jump into a few things that you mentioned. So before we go into culture and stuff like that, what do you think are the biggest or most common mistakes that recruiters, especially in real estate and or remote, are doing? What are the mistakes that people are doing?
I think the main mistake, whether you're hiring for operations or for even talent on the sales front, is that you're the sense of being desperate. Like you're hiring out of pain because you've been in the business for a little bit. You got the business to where it is right now, and then you're kind of looking to get to that next level. But then you're looking for leverage to help you generate more sales, and yet you're not really in a position to do so. And you feel like you have to bring in someone because you just simply, and I'll just be straight up because I've been on teams that have been like this, you just straight up just don't want to do the work anymore. You just don't want to do the basics that got you to where were successful to begin with and get you to a position where you can bring in leverage, but not quite. So really understanding where you are in your business and actually being ready, willing, and able to bring on somebody. And we talk to our clients about this all the time, especially if you're buying or selling a home. You have to, or really buying, you have to be ready. You have to be actively engaged in that process. And on the flip side, for what we're talking about today, you have to really make the decision to bring on new team members, whether it's a new agent or operations person. You have to be willing. Right? You have to be motivated. When we talk to our clients on buying or selling a home, what is their real motivation? Same thing for anyone that's looking to hire operations or bring on a new agent. You have to be motivated on bringing on a team member and really training them. And then the last piece of it is being able to. You have to have systems in place to train that person adequately to then be able to scale the business to where you want it to, because you can't just get there by yourself, and you can't just bring on someone, give them the bare minimum and just say, hey, good luck with everything, right? Like, you want to create a culture and lean on a system that's going to support said culture and be able to scale that, to scale it from there. Just how we tell our buyers to get pre-approved. When you're able to actually go out and buy a home, you have to be pre-approved in your mind to say, all right, I have everything I need in place to bring on the talent that I need and be able to partner up with whoever wants to build this up with me.
I totally agree. And that's at least a yellow flag for us when we jump into a call with a client or a prospect and they tell us it's like their first hire. I mean, you want to help the companies that are or the solo entrepreneurs are starting to scale, even if they're not solo, even if they're 2-3 people company and they're wanting to scale. And if they don't have the SOPs with whatever is what the next agent or remote employee is going to be doing, and they don't have the SOPs or the systems, and it's a hire for us, we see that many times those turn into guarantees because they don't perform. And it's not necessarily because the talent or the candidate isn't good. It's because they bounce because they don't have the tools to perform. Right. So that's at least like a yellow flag to us when companies don't have processes and all that. Yeah,
absolutely.
So,
absolutely.
So let's jump into another subject, and it's a hot one. What about AI? And are you using or are you seeing any AI agents by now? Because AI is in everything now, and of course it improved our systems, our consulting, our note taking, all that. Okay, so the next step is the really replacing of us, like replacing agents. Is that happening anytime soon? I know people are doing. What about you guys? What do you think?
Yeah, I think the most dangerous person in the age of technology we're in, especially with AI, is the most dangerous person is the one who knows how to utilize AI, not AI replacing that person. With the technology that we use, we actually have AI embedded in our database. So it does help with in regards to reaching out to clients. You could just tag a client profile, and then that AI will reach out, say, "Hey, I'm so and so's I'm so and so's assistant. Just want to reach out because you had looked at our website recently and just wanted to know if you were still interested." Like it would legit have a conversation with
With call?
that lead. No, it's mainly through text. We're working there. This technology is working its way through calling, but it's mainly through text. And when we first got access to that new feature in our database, it was pretty crazy. And I was low key a little scared when I was first testing it, because we had a bunch of these leads that we never heard from, and so we put the AI on the batch just to see what happens. And until the lead responds, it will just send a message or two every day, just to keep it active. And when you do get a reply, it would actually go through the process of qualifying that lead and asking deeper questions. And even knew whatever was on the profile at that point in time, it will take that data and use it to have the conversation. And so I think we're in a point in real estate sales where the AI could really help us really cultivate relationships that we otherwise would have missed. Database management is it's really an art. It's a huge thing that every agent needs to have some foundation in, because you can only talk to so many people in a day. And especially if you're doing pay-per-click ads and Facebook ads and all this lead generating things that is filtering into your database, you only have so much time in the day to get through all of them and make sure that you're giving everyone the proper attention, right? And understanding your turnover rate in your database. It's a lot of work. And so when you have that type of technology at your disposal, it is definitely in your best interest to use it in a strategic way where you could really pick up business that you otherwise wouldn't get. And there's a ton of business that a lot of us agents will miss, just because we didn't simply just pick up the phone. But if we can't do that, throw your AI on it, and they'll hopefully pick up and get you that next appointment.
So a few questions on that AI. Was that text? When you say text, you mean SMS? Or
text message.
Meaning also email or other platforms?
I know there's other tech out there that does the emails as well. But the particular AI case I'm talking about it's able to text. Right now it's able to text out. It even texts out the language of that profile too. So if that person has been responding in Spanish, the AI will go out and try to reach out to them in Spanish, so which is cool. I think what's also great with AI is that it's being used in all these different areas of the business as well, including like organization and doing emails and such. So when you're going through your emails and you're trying to just get back to everyone, you could use that AI filter in I guess like in Gmail they have Gemini to help you write that up. Or if you're creating a marketing piece, it can help you design something. Through Canva and anything else. And so there's a lot of ways to really streamline the process of your operations, whether you're solo or you're on the team and scaling it. There's a lot of ways you could really cut down and make things more efficient and more effective through the use of AI. It's just a matter of taking the time to learn about it and seeing where it fits into your model at that point in time.
Sure, that's great. And before we go into team building, I have a few other questions about the industry. So you've talked about your experience building teams and recruiting teams, agents, people on the phone. Do you see any trend on geographic locations of the agents, meaning is countries in Latin America this, or people in the Philippines that, or do you see any trends about that?
Yeah, the biggest trends, and it's funny because it kind of hits home. The biggest trends as I got into maybe year 2, year 3 of doing ops is how big the Philippines is for virtual assistants. I'm half Filipino. I grew up with a Filipino mom, so I've been around that culture. And
Really
I remember
amazing.
doing a dinner. Yeah, and I remember doing a dinner with some ops people with my previous company, and uh, she was explaining. I was wondering, like, why the Philippines? Like, I was just very curious because I'm Filipino. I know about the people, I know about the culture and how they could be, especially when it comes to professional having a professional life and everything. But why the Philippines? Why is the VA department 95% VAs from the Philippines? And he said it's just the culture of the people. And when it comes to work, it's just the work ethic it's just something that can't be matched. They're just really hard workers. They have this sense of hospitality and belonging that they just want to come from a service oriented mindset. Like, they want to provide that hospitality, what I call white glove service, as much as possible. And it just happens to be, in my experience, and what I you know what who I've been working with, a lot of the Filipino VAs have been the most heartfelt, most hardworking VAs I've ever worked with. I've had 2 VAs, including with my previous most recent one. There were VAs out of the Philippines, and they're always willing to learn. They're always willing to grow. They're always willing to say, "Hey, what does this agent need today, or how can I help you make this process better?" And so, when it comes to that, it really kind of fits into the type of culture that you want for your team as well. Like, yeah, you got to train someone who's like 12 hours ahead, and and sometimes their internet is really spotty, because there have been times where my VA wasn't able to do their job for a little bit just because they have a typhoon coming in. But they, like, even little things like communicating that, it makes a big difference. And I think it's really important to cultivate a culture where they could really be themselves and also deliver the results that you're expected, plus more, in what I've seen in my experience. So.
Great, great, thanks. Okay, I want to jump a little bit into this other subject, that is building teams. Let's go for the general question. What are your general advice? What is your general advice for building teams and for just build a culture so that they feel cool and they build a sense of belonging and they want to stay there?
Yeah, I believe you have to have a real reason to build a team. That not just because you don't want to do the sales, or you're trying to come down from doing the sales front and become a sales coach or be a brokerage. Like, you have to have the heart, again, being ready, willing, and able to bring on people that you want to train, that have the same vision and alignment of where you want to be in life through real estate, and being able to have the systems in place to support that. I know agents that wanted to start a team and they just don't want to do the work. They bring on talent. They bring on an ops person. They tell them, "Hey, here's what's going on in each of these aspects. I would like for you to do X, Y, and Z." Meanwhile, they may be doing some sales, but they're not doing it to the extent to keep on that talent. Does that make sense? So, and that I feel like that can be a challenge even as an ops person, because yes, we know how volatile it could be as a real estate salesperson, going out trying to talk to as many people as possible, kind of generate previous referrals and work with the same client and all that. But it's just as volatile on the back end too, because you see the amount of production that is coming in, and if there's not enough production coming in, then the first thing that they're going to look at the P&L are the people and the talent. It's like, well, is this agent doing it enough to keep my services on. And I have unfortunately been in those situations where it just didn't make sense for a position for me to be on because they weren't doing enough production. And so you have to be willing, as a team leader, you have to be willing to put in the work that's going to take to build that team. And then as you bring on talent, as you train on agents, and as you scale that system, people are naturally going to step up, become that leader that you're looking for on the sales and the ops side, and then you'll be able to have that time freedom you were looking for in the beginning, to then go and do an ancillary business with the business, or go on and do something else from there. But I think it's just having a strong reason to do it, and not just do it for the sake of, because I'm this successful and I can do this now. Not everyone can do it, and not everyone is built to be a team leader.
Yeah, I agree. It's hard, but it's true. So I wanted to ask you a few more things, because these 20 minutes you've given us a lot of information, really cool tips about hiring, building teams. But there's always the human side and the real part, if you will, of the business. So I want to ask you, what is your biggest challenge regarding team growth in these days?
I think the biggest challenge is making sure that the agents have a real goal and not a stated goal. A stated goal being that they just, hey, I want to make $3 million in GCI this next year, just because you have a Ryan Serhant or someone at that level doing it, or they're probably doing like 100 times that. But they see someone else making that type of thing, and it just seems good because they feel like they're at that same level. The reality is they don't have the willingness to hit that 3 million in GCI, because they're in a completely different space in their business than what they think. And so I think the challenge when it comes to helping agents grow is making sure that they have goals that align with their willingness to, with their work ethic. One of the early things that we do on our team, or the team I was consulting, is that we actually create a business plan for them very early on in the process. Matter of fact, we actually tell them what our average GCI is for per transaction from the previous year, and we put it into this calculator. So depending on how much they want to make, we put it into this calculator, and we are able to convert how many units they would have to sell to hit whatever number they want based off our team average. That alone, and I do that during the when we're doing the presentation of what we have to offer and everything. That alone will tell me everything I need to know about their willingness to move forward in the process, or even being an agent, whether with us or not. There has to be transparent. There's three things that agents need to have in order to join the team, or be comfortable enough to join a team. One, the team has to have the technology. They have to have technology, like we talked about. They have to have the infrastructure to support a new agent or someone who's experienced, especially if they're experienced. How can they utilize that technology to scale them, to scale their current business to the next level? They need to have technology. Two, they have to have a track record. Sharing our stats on what the previous year was like, with our units, with our unit count, with the GCI, and how we got there. Being able to share that, our track record, and how we're able to do that is a big thing in my process as well. And then the last thing is just transparency. There are a lot of people that they see the GCI, they see the goals that they could achieve with us through our numbers and everything, and then we talk about the split. Oh, it's 50-50. Okay, well, sometimes some people are looking for they're looking for like 80-20 or like the podcast, they're looking for 80-20, or they're looking for a little more than 50, right? And the reality is, if you're a solo agent, you're going to spend between 10 to 90% of your commission on expenses alone. Right. And so to help an agent understand who's joining a team, to help them understand why the split is the 50-50 or whatever your team is offering, you have to be very transparent and you have to really back it with the amount of support and technology that you have to offer to get them to success. And so I think it's really, really important to be able to have all technology, track record, and the transparency, and to show that in the presentation, to share that with them, and how it could really benefit their world, because you have to be able to be in their shoes for even a little bit. We do that through everything I just talked about in the presentation, and through doing a business plan. Everyone's not going to do 100 calls a week, even though there may be a standard for a team. For everyone on the team, 100 may not cut it for someone. Maybe they're good at 50. All right, cool. Let's start with there. You want to be where they are. Show them the standard, make adjustments if possible, and then go from there. And you just have to kind of work. You got to go at their pace. You can't just throw them into the fire, because that's why a lot of people fail out of the business in their first year, and a lot more don't even make it 5 years. And it's upsetting, but I feel like if you're going to make it long term in this business, you have to have clear goals, and you have to have a defined business plan that will tell you what you're willing to do.
Sure, thanks, man. I heard you say a lot of times we, right? When you talk about we, can you tell us, you and your team, who do you serve and how people can connect with you?
Yeah, so right now I'm more of a consultant at this point, and right now I really help any agent any team agent or team leader looking to scale their business. I do consulting for real estate operations. I also do publishing. So fun fact, I'm a self published author, and I have published a few books over the last few years for some other clients, and then also just general business work as well. I could do websites and little things like that, and just be that advisor for you. So if you ever want to connect, I am on LinkedIn, Asher Carr, also on Facebook and Instagram as well, Asher Carr there. And yeah, always looking. Again, my mission in life is to help people build their legacies through wealth building, community, and creating impact. And I do that through real estate, books, and also through Spartan races. I do a lot of endurance. Not a lot, but I've been doing endurance races over the last 2-3 years, and just want to help others see the potential in themselves and help them get to that next level that they truly deserve. So.
Great, Asher. I think that wraps it up, and that's a great message to the world. And we have to start finishing up this episode. And if you enjoyed this episode, just make sure to subscribe and just leave a 5-star review. And if you're a real estate leader and you want to be featured, just apply to be a guest at 8020recruit.com/podcast. And of course, consider 8020 Recruit as your go-to partner for all things recruiting in our industry. Until the next time, and keep building strong teams and hiring smarter.